What's up, everybody? My name is Caden Campbell, and welcome to Off the Glass. Off the Glass is going to be like a sports central channel. I'm really centered towards basketball, but I'm open to expanding towards baseball and football because those are two other sports that I really enjoy. I got this name because I thought it was really unique and fun and attention grabbing. Like that sounds like something I'd want to watch. So, I want to give a big shout out to my father and to my two friends, Barack and Eli, for this support and idea of starting a YouTube channel for my career goals. My career goal or career path that I want to take is to become an NBA or NCAA, which is college, broadcaster / analyst. I want to be able to commentate play-by-play over games and, interview players, coaches, things like that, like Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Malika Andrews, just to name a few names. But yeah, I think that this is something that I could really succeed in as I have the voice for it. I've been watching sports my entire life, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. Now, in today's video, I will be running through my personal predictions. Yes, my predictions. Not what I want to happen, my predictions on the first round of the NBA playoffs. Now, the time, it's 5:20 when I'm recording this right here. And, the playoffs have already started. So we already had a game where the Indiana Pacers defeated the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe the score was 117-99, something like that. I could check, but yeah, something along those lines. And right now, we have the Denver Nuggets playing the Los Angeles Clippers, where the Clippers are up by 3 in the third quarter, 67-64. I have my computer telling me right here. But yeah, that's what Off the Glass is. I can't wait to, start this journey. And here we go. Okay, so I will be starting with the Eastern Conference. I'm going to be breaking down my predictions for the first round only. I'm not going to do the entire playoffs because I want to do multiple videos for each round as the NBA playoffs goes. So we're going to start and we're going to go from 1-8 to 7, etc. So starting off in the Eastern Conference, first seed and eighth seed, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat. I see the Miami Heat taking one game at home, but that's about it. I'm going to give the upper edge to the Cleveland Cavaliers. All season long, they have been winning countless amount of games, even with battling with injuries and, facing harder teams like the Thunder, the Celtics. They just been persevering through all of these things, and no one thought they would be doing as good as they did, but they did it, and you can't deny that. The Miami Heat losing Jimmy Butler, stings a lot, but Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, their rookie Khalil Ware, they've all been putting in the work to maintain that little play-in spot. They just made it out the play-in tournament yesterday, facing the Atlanta Hawks, where they beat them. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Cavs in 5. I think that the Miami can definitely win a game at home in Miami. So yeah, Cavs in 5. Next, we're gonna go to Celtics versus Magic. The Orlando Magic definitely disappointed me this season. Not to say that I had high expectations of them, but I definitely thought that they would be a top 6 team. So them being number 7, having to go through the play-in tournament definitely surprised me, especially with the fact that I believe they personally got better over the offseason. So yeah, I don't think that the Orlando Magic will take a single game here. I definitely strongly believe that the Boston Celtics will sweep the Orlando Magic. And yeah, that's just that. I generally don't see the Orlando Magic taking a game here. Also, if you see me looking to the side, I have the playoffs bracket right here on my laptop, but I'm going to put a digital one down in the corner so that you guys can see it as well. Just wanted to clear that up. But yeah, so I'm going to go with Celtics in 4 with a sweep. Then we're going to go to my New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons. Now, New York, we struggle when it comes up to teams that are over 500 for some apparent reason. I don't know if it's because Tom Thibodeau likes to drain out our stars, but we don't really do well when it comes up to these tougher teams. The Pistons are not considered to be a tougher team, but for them to go from 15th seed to the 6th seed in the span of one season, that says a lot. Their general manager definitely did a great job this offseason and during the season acquiring names like Dennis Schroeder and others who I cannot think of off the top of my head. I can't think of who they got during the season, but I do know in the offseason they definitely signed Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, Malik Beasley, all these good guys that have been adding to their depth for their bench, for their starting lineup, and just really good positive, additions to the squad. I do think that the Detroit Pistons have a good chance at winning this series, but due to their lack of playoff experience, because playoffs and regular season are two different beasts, and I believe that the Detroit Pistons do not have that playoff experience to take on the New York Knicks. Now, the New York Knicks have had a heavy playoff drought, but with this being their third playoff appearance in a row, with this being Jalen Brunson's third season with us in a row, I do think that the Knicks have the upper edge, especially with acquiring the big guy Cat. Yeah, I think that we're going to go with Knicks in 6 or Knicks in 5 here. But I would not be surprised if the Detroit Pistons take this series. But I will be going with my New York Knicks. Now, the Pacers and Bucks, the time right now is 5 o'clock at me recording this, so their game is already over. I'll pull up the score right now. Pacers versus Bucks. The Pacers defeated the Milwaukee Bucks 117-98. Yeah. So an ESPN notification actually got released earlier that Damian Lillard is expected to return either game 2 or game 3. So that is going to have a big impact. That's either going to be a massive win for the Bucks or a massive loss. He has been out for a really long time due to a blood clot, I believe. I'm not too sure, but I believe it was a blood clot. So yeah, something similar to what Victor Wembanyama had of the San Antonio Spurs. But I do think that the Milwaukee Bucks does have what it takes to win this series, especially given the fact that last season when the Pacers beat this Bucks team, it was just Damian Lillard. There was no Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo is an absolute beast, and we've seen what he can do in the playoffs, especially with their title run back in 2021 against the Phoenix Suns. So I'm going to go to the Bucks in 6 here. Next up, wait, no, I believe that's it for the Eastern Conference. So yeah, these are my predictions for the Eastern Conference. Just to reiterate, I have Cavs in 5, Celtics in 4, Knicks in 6, and Bucks in 6. And lastly, for this video, I will be moving on to the Western Conference. This conference is going to be much trickier as the Western Conference is more, how do I say this? They're deeper than the East. It's going to be much harder to get to the finals for these better teams in the West than it will be for the teams in the East. Like, I feel like the Celtics and the Cavaliers are pretty much a lock for the finals. Unless some big names get hurt, I think that the Celtics or either the Cleveland Cavaliers will make it out of the Eastern Conference. Now, in the Western Conference, we have the 1 seed versus the 8th seed. We have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder versus Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. I do think that Ja Morant and the Grizzlies are capable of getting 1 or 2 games on OKC, maybe 1 over 2. So I'm going to give it to the Oklahoma City Thunder in 5 because the Thunder are young, they're hungry, they're all bite. They have a bunch of bark, but they also have a lot of bite. This is like a young AAU team like we've never seen before. These are a bunch of youngins just going out there hooping, just dropping 150, 140 a night on your favorite players' teams. The Oklahoma City Thunder are here to play. They're here to stay. Last season was their first time in the playoffs since 2020, I believe, when they had Chris Paul back in the bubble. I could be wrong, but I do believe that last season was probably their first year in the playoffs, at least as a top seed, set for a very long time. I do think that they have what it takes to beat the Memphis Grizzlies. And so, yeah, I'm going to definitely say Oklahoma City in 5. Next up, we have the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors. We have the 2nd-seeded Rockets versus the 7th-seeded Warriors. I think that the Golden State Warriors will compete an upset. The Golden State Warriors are the better team here. No, I'm sorry. I personally do think that the Houston Rockets are the better team. I just think that the Warriors are the better playoff team. The Rockets have little to none playoff experience. Yes, you have Fred VanVleet, who has won a championship with the Toronto Raptors back in 2019. Yes, you have Dylan Brooks, who has played in the playoffs with the Memphis Grizzlies years ago. But I do think that the connection of Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler fused together in playoff mode, yeah, it's going to be really hard for this Houston Rockets team to overcome that. I love Amen Thompson. He's one of my favorite young guys to watch in this NBA with his versatility on offense and defense. He can do everything on the court. He does lack shooting, but I feel like if he puts in the work to improve his shot, he'll have the shot. But yeah, I'm going to definitely give it to the Warriors in either 5 or 6. I don't see how the Rockets win this series. I don't see it. Next up, we have my Lakers versus the Timberwolves. And I'm saying my Lakers, but it's really my LeBron. LeBron's my favorite player. I know Shannon Sharp has all those memes, Lakers in 5, but I got the Lakers in 5 or 6 here. The Lakers outdo the Timberwolves in everything, offensively, defensively. We're better shooters than them. They beat us in rebounding, but that's fine. We have Luka now. Luka's a great rebounder, especially for a 6'7" point guard. Julius Randle, who's in a former Knick now, who's with the Timberwolves, was the trade that happened this offseason with the Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns. Julius Randle is notoriously known with his time in New York Knicks to flunk and disappear during the playoffs, and I think he will do that here in Minnesota. Normally, people turn a new leaf when they go to a new team. Like we just saw Kyle Kuzma put up straight zeros against the Pacers in Game 1. If you didn't watch the highlights, watch the highlights. If you don't want to watch the highlights, look at the stats. Kyle Kuzma, terrible, right? I'm not saying he's a terrible player, but the performance that he put up, especially for his first playoff run since 2021, I believe, when Russell Westbrook was on the team, terrible. Was that when Russ was on the team? Yes, it was when Russ was on the team back in 2021. I don't think he was on the Lakers during that time. And if he was, excuse me. But yeah, I have Lakers winning this in 5 or 6 games, especially with the addition of Luka Doncic. We have the great LeBron James, Austin Reeves with a great season, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Jordan Goodman, Dalton Connect, just to name a few guys that we have on the bench. Bronny, love you, bro, but you were not touching the court at all until October. Unless the Lakers are up by like 30 in the fourth, I don't see Bronny touching the court during the playoffs. JJ Redick knows better than that. Now, I do think that Bronny can contribute to this team, but for it to be his first NBA season and his first NBA playoff appearance, I think that it's cool. That it's better for JJ Redick to just keep him on the bench to watch. But if he gets some playing time, you know what I'm saying, Bronny can go out there, shoot a couple threes, get a couple lays up. He can do it. Next up, we have the Nuggets versus Clippers. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this game is going on right now. So I'm gonna look up the score. Clippers versus Nuggets. I know that the Clippers are, this is why it's important to look this stuff up. Because before I recorded this video, the Clippers were up by like 20 or 30. But now we have the beginning of the third quarter where the Clippers are only up by 2, 53 to 51. Let's start with the Clippers first because they're the 5th seed. James Harden is a great playoff player. Kawhi Leonard, great playoff player if he stays healthy. I really hope he stays healthy because he has been playing really good with the time he has been playing because, he's been really unavailable throughout this NBA season. But when he returned, he had an immediate impact. Zubac and Norman Powell, claps ups to them. I don't know if it's because of Paul George leaving the team and going to Philly that they, had a crazy player growth. And especially for them to be like in like their early 30s, maybe late 20s, pretty much like the middle of their career, for them to have the growth spurt of a player as they did, especially with players like Kawhi Leonard and James Harden on the team, that's really, really good for them. And I do think that they have what it takes to at least win this game right here. I won't be surprised, though, because when you come over to Denver, you have Jokic, who obvious MVP. Anyone who says Jokic is not the MVP is crazy. This guy's putting up 60-point triple-doubles. I don't know if he's going to do that again, at least in this playoffs run. But, yeah, Jokic is a beast. Jamal Murray is a beast, especially when he's playing the Lakers. They're not playing the Lakers right now, so we'll see what he does. Michael Porter Jr., great shooter. Who else do they have? Aaron Gordon, great player. The Nuggets have the pieces, and that is exactly how I'm going to give it to the Nuggets in 6. But this could potentially be a 7-game series, and I think it's going to be the only 7-game series that we have here in the Western Conference. So these are my predictions for the West. I had the Thunder in 5. I had the Warriors in 6. I had the Lakers in 5 or 6, and I had the Nuggets in either 6 or 7. So yeah, these are my predictions. I feel really strongly about these. We're going to come back here in a couple of weeks, or maybe 2 weeks, I think that it'll be, when the first round is over. We're going to talk about the first round and then dive into a second round prediction. So the conference semifinals for both Western and Eastern Conference. I'm really excited to see how these games unfold and see what I got right, see what I got wrong, and I hope you guys are too. Leave your predictions in the comments if you want to. If not, feel free to, at least make them at least. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you.